Bom, galera, só um aviso rápido antes desse vídeo aqui. Ele foi gravado ano passado, há um tempinho atrás, com o meu treinador, tá? E ele tem umas dicas muito boas pra você melhorar a sua mobilidade aí antes de começar a fazer agachamento e ter uma amplitude de movimento melhor, né? Mais confortável e também evitar, prevenir lesões. Então é mais ou menos isso daí, eu tenho certeza que vocês vão gostar. Fala galera, tô aqui com o meu coach, meu treinador, Justin Schomaeker. Ele é um doutor em fisioterapia. Ele vai dar mais dicas pra gente melhorar o nosso agachamento, né? No primeiro vídeo ele falou um pouco sobre o tornozelo, a junta, como é que a gente pode fazer alguns exercícios para fazer para melhorar a amplitude de movimento, dorsiflexão e tudo mais. E agora ele vai falar sobre o quadril, o que a gente pode fazer no quadril para melhorar o nosso agachamento, né? Agachar mais fundo, agachar melhor, sem dor e tudo mais.
I'm out angling you right now.
Oh, yeah, you always are.
Alright guys, second installment of Squat Deep Talks Cheap. So now we're going to be talking about the hip. I know in the first video we talked about the ankle and how it needs to be able to dorsiflex fully for you able to get into that bottom of that squat. If you want to check that video out, I'm sure Kyle will have it linked down here.
Yeah, for sure.
Second part, the hip. So what I'm going to have Kyle start with is a little bit of soft tissue work with the lacrosse ball. Foam roller might be better on the glute here, but lacrosse ball work too can be a little bit more pinpoint, a little bit firmer sometimes. So go ahead and sit down here, and I'll show you what to do. So you're going to want to take this ball, and you're going to want to kind of put it on the glute here, and I'm sure Caio's done this before. And the same thing like he did with the calf in the first video, he's going to kind of find some of those different spots that might feel a little bit tight, maybe a little bit tender. It shouldn't be too painful. If it is, ease up a little bit on it, take a little bit of your weight off, or hang out for a little bit less time and find a new spot. If you're getting any numbness and tingling, anything like that, obviously get off that area or stop. Now if you're going to do it on the foam roller, what you might have to do is cross this leg over the knee.
Yes.
And then bend that knee. It's going to be a little harder to do that on the ball because it's going to just be too much. It's too pinpoint, it's too small. But if you're using a foam roller, that's the way I would do it. That's the first part. Work on that for just a couple minutes, 2.5, 3 minutes maybe each side if you're going to do both. Don't spend 10 or 15 minutes on this, guys. The soft tissue work, you're likely only getting transient gains in anyway, so it's a good thing to start with before you do any mobilizations or static stretching, if you will. Second piece here is going to be a nice opener for the front of the hip. So what I'm going to have Kyle do is use this green band we got set up here. Go ahead and put your right leg in there. And where you're going to want this band is right below the hip crease. So right there, right below the glute there in the hip crease. Kyle's going to get into this position here. Actually, bring that right leg behind you. And what you're going to want is a little bit of padding for the knee too. Get your knee on there. So don't blow up the front of the knee with any of these. Get some padding under there. Step this left leg out a little bit further. Stand up nice and tall. Good. Come over a little bit this way here. And Kyle should already feel that stretch in the front of the leg. Get a little bit more neutral here. There you go. And what he can do is kind of oscillate into that stretch. Good. This is not only going to open up the front of the hip and that musculature, it's also going to open up that joint capsule as well. Same thing with this. Don't spend 15 minutes doing this. Maybe a few minutes here on both sides. How's that feel?
Yeah, it feels good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I do like to do a couple stretches for the hip. More, some might consider this a little bit static stretching. I like to oscillate into it a little bit. One of the first ones I like to do is kind of this figure 4 stretch, or modified here, a little bit more advanced. The table could be a little higher if you want it to be. You want to keep that spine nice and neutral. Get that ankle off the edge so you're not getting any pinching. Rotate slightly and then lean over the opposite knee. just like this. And you can kind of find your spots here. Oscillate into that a little bit. Same thing, couple minutes aside, should get the job done. Final and last one here is going to be simulating that deep squat position. You know, when that hip is flexed fully and with the knee out. A lot of you guys are going to have a lot of tightness here on the inside of the leg and into the joint. So this is going to be a nice thing to help open it up. You can even do this as one of your stretches. Keep that spine nice and neutral. Kick those knees out. Hold this for a few minutes. You can't get into this position. You can't get into a squat with 315 pounds on your back, okay? So a nice exercise to get you into that position is this one here. You're going to go foot up on the table or bench, whatever you got. Arm on the inside of the leg, wrap the ankle here, and it's just like this. You can push that knee out a little bit with the stretch here. Push it out a little bit. You can hold them, keep that spine nice and neutral. You can kind of find your spots here. Same thing, couple minutes. Don't spend 15 minutes doing this.
Fala galera, esse aí foi mais um vídeo com o meu treinador, eu espero muito que vocês tenham gostado, tá? Ficou bem bacana e bem informativo. Se você gostou do meu treinador, gostou dos conceitos dele, eu vou deixar o site dele, tá? Na descrição do vídeo e também aqui na tela para vocês darem uma olhada. E se vocês quiserem entrar em contato com ele para uma consultoria, vocês podem fazer isso pelo site ou também pelo Instagram dele, mandando um direct message, tá? O Instagram dele tá aí na tela também e na descrição do vídeo. E é isso aí, se você curtiu esse vídeo, esmaga o like e compartilha com os amigos. Tamo junto e até o próximo vídeo.